Good morning, friends and colleagues in Romania, and only too sorry that I can't be with you today as I look out over a very windy, rainy Brussels this morning. I will be very brief, as you just requested, and I know we have a number of great speakers on this panel. My short answer to the question of whether energy security and affordability can go hand in hand, the answer is yes, and they absolutely have to. Indeed, it's possibly not as difficult as it sounds because energy security is intrinsically linked with the issue of prices. But delivering it in practice, as we have discovered in the European Union and in Romania and across Southeastern Europe, is not as easy as it sounds. Why we came so powerfully with Repower EU was indeed to list you the objectives you will already know, to get quickly out of Russian gas, to accelerate the energy transition, the green transition. And indeed, these objectives flowed together in the context of this massive supply demand crunch that we faced in 2022 in terms of diversifying our gas supply away from Russia, in terms of, for example, setting storage targets, delivering on gas demand reduction in a coordinated way. And I think just on the gas side, and we've got a heavily gassy panel here today, we were able to secure, is the cut to the chase of this end of the story, we were able to secure gas supply to the EU markets. We have managed through our bold and collective policy response at the European and the national level, we have managed to bring prices to lower levels and to reduce gas price volatility. We're therefore in a much better shape as we come out of this last winter than we were last winter or the winter before, but we are not out of the woods. And I will want to stress that throughout the panel. We're not out of the woods in terms of our immediate short-term energy supply crunch, but we're certainly not out of the woods in terms of meeting the essential goals of the green energy transition. If I may just take a couple more minutes to highlight one or two aspects of that as we move forward. How well have we done in terms of phasing out Russian fossil fuels? 3 years ago, 45% of our gas came from Russia. Now we're down to 15%. How well have we done in terms of gas prices, which hit the eye-watering levels of more than 330 euros per megawatt hour in 2022? We're now down to around 28 euros per megawatt hour, close to, but not at pre-crisis levels. We have massively stepped up our rollout of wind and solar capacities and thereby reduced not just the short-term need, but the perspective for gas volumes needed for electricity generation, which I think was also contributed to bring down electricity prices as well. I was interested to hear the discussion you had in the previous panel about the importance of the regional dimension, and I want to stress that here. Through the Central and Southeast Europe high-level group called CESEC, we have really identified the importance of the geographic dimension of additional needs in Southeast Europe to Central and Southeast Europe in terms of full independence from Russian gas. And we've, through CESEC over the last few years, have managed to create a number of critical projects, such as the Trans-Balkan Reverse Flow project, the Brewer corridor between Bulgaria, Romania, and Hungary, and a number of others. We have also developed at the European level a very successful energy platform to support this diversification away from Russian gas. 182 companies have subscribed to this. In the 4 rounds in terms of our short-term product in 2023, demand was expressed for more than 50 billion cubic meters of gas, supply for more than 60 billion cubic meters. We've now introduced new products, a mid-term product, and we're about to launch a survey on a possible long-term product as well. So please continue to participate in that. But all of this is to support the direction of travel, and this is the point I want to stress again and again in this panel, the need to deliver on the affordable green transition, putting energy efficiency first, accelerating electrification based on a largely renewables-based power system, promoting renewable and low-carbon fuels, particularly for the hard-to decarbonize sectors. Hydrogen, I'm sure we're going to talk a bit about that. And indeed, all of these things will be central if we are to achieve a just and a fair green transition to ensure that the European Green Deal looks good from a consumer-centric perspective, And thereby you will also hear us talking regularly about schemes focused on vulnerable people, measures to structurally address energy poverty. That's all I wanted to say by way of kicking off. Looking forward to the discussion. Sorry I can't be with you, and thanks for inviting me to join you today.
Thank you very much, Matthew.